This is Katie Kimball with a different sort of healthy parenting connector today. Usually I connect parents who really want to raise healthy kids with the experts who have the information they need. Today, I'm connecting you with the tools you might want to get your kids in the kitchen. So these are our favorite tools here at Kids Cook Real Food to get kids involved in the kitchen. And we've got, probably about 15. I should have counted that before. But I didn't. I'm starting out with some of my faves for little ones, like preschool kids. And these are our crinkle cutters. You can get this one on Amazon. This one's sold at more of a specialty store. And to tell you the truth, although we like the fun cut from this better, because you're not pushing, the child is not pushing straight down on the top, it's actually harder, I think, for them to use. And so as a family, we have always preferred this one. It's a little bit sharper, which maybe sounds dangerous, but it just means less frustration when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it. And you know, the child's pushing straight down. So I'm gonna just show you really quickly our course. This is how we use the crinkle cutters in the course. We should use them to cut cheese and also like zucchinis and like cucumbers and softer things like that. So next up, we've got another tool, and this is definitely for everyone, littles to bigs. And this is just our peeler. And you'll see this is called a Y-shaped peeler. You know, a lot of people have like those straight peelers. I feel like those are harder for kids to use. They just have different angles going on. This is really easy to grab on top, put on a carrot or a cucumber and peel. This is my favorite as well, even when it comes to round things like apples and potatoes, which is, you know, a little bit more advanced stuff. Always start your little kids with like this, carrots and cucumbers. So you can see how I'm demonstrating how we use the exact same peeler that I have today. And these are our little kids. These are our beginners, ages 2 to 5. Peeling's a little bit more like 3 or 4 to 6, but we put it in the beginner level because we like a little bit of a challenge.
Ready?
And that's the same one I have. There are smaller peelers. So the one John's using right there is actually smaller for little hands, but they're not quite as sharp. So again, a little bit more frustration when it comes right down to it. Now, we do a lot of measuring at Kids Cook Real Food, and I've got a couple different, our favorite measuring tools to show. Here at our house, I prefer stainless steel. I prefer things that I can put in the dishwasher for day-to-day use when I'm not like teaching my littlest kids. So we recently got this set from Amazon, and I thought it was really cool because it has color-coded handles. So if kids are still kind of working on learning their fractions, you can tell them the color instead. And they're just really flat on top, nice and sharp, easy for the measure it flat. And I also like that they came in a set with these guys. Now, no colored handles, but here's what I love about these. We often have trouble with kids measuring spices and like making messes. If they're trying to pour, you know, into here and like scrape it off, like where do you scrape and you need a spill bowl? So I know it's just easier to tell kids. We've started to take them off the ring, but I forgot, so I dropped it. I'm okay. We like to tell kids, like, just try to reach into the jar with the spoon and just kind of jiggle it flat, or do this with your finger as you're bringing it out. Again, not for baking, not when it has to be perfect, but if you're just measuring cinnamon or Italian seasoning, and it doesn't really matter, because I do like to teach kids like Rachel Ray to just kind of eye it up in your hand. These are great because every single size, even the tablespoon, which must be what I dropped, fits into the jar. So how cool that it actually is a set. And I'll just show you really quickly on Amazon. Let's see how fast I am at my tech. Haha. So very affordable. They're made of stainless steel, which is great. And they have the twofold benefit of the colored handles and the measuring cups, and then the ability to get into the jar, to fit skinny into the jar on the measuring spoons. So that was a good find, good new find for us and our family. Next, we've got a dollar store find, quite honestly. I have scoured the internet and I haven't found little tongs as nice as these that were 2 for in a package at our dollar store. So I hope that your dollar store has them too. We'll link to a couple on Amazon that are like sort of close, but look at this. It's got like this nice little pad for your fingers and little kind of serrated edges. Not that the edges don't matter, but what this is great for is, again, back to our preschool crowd. Preschool is all about mastering the small motor skills. It's what you need to hold a pencil. It's what you need to cut with scissors, all those preschool skills. And so you have your preschool kids be in charge of the tongs. They're the tong masters. So they can serve everyone like olives or cheese cubes or pickles or, you know, really anything tiny that you can pick up, cherry tomatoes. Have them serve the whole family. They think they're doing something really fun. They think they're doing something really helpful. Sneakily in the background, you're actually improving their small motor skills. So awesome, right? Here is how we do it in the class. After we cut that cheese with the crinkle cutter, we teach the kids to then put your knife down for safety. Super important to me anytime I'm working with kids and knives. We have them always put their knives down when they move the food, even if it's a dull butter knife, even if it's that crinkle cutter, because we want them to get into the habit. So we have them put the knife down and move all those cheese cubes from the cutting board to the plate. Haha, small motor skills. Y'all, tell me if you have these at your dollar store. I really do want to know, because I've been telling people for years, there are certain kids supply, like cooking supplies, that are just better found at a dollar store. Go figure. All right, next let's talk about knives. You know I'm a huge proponent of getting knives in kids' hands, so I'm going to show you some of our favorites. This can came with these two knives. It's from True Chef, TRU Chef. They both have kind of the stubby ends, and they're very appropriate for kids' hands. They also came with these little kitchen scissors. This is awesome, by the way, for kids who maybe don't have the knife dexterity or they're a little nervous with the sharp knife. You can give even a fairly young child these kitchen scissors and something like green onions or kale or anything you can imagine that you could like snip in the air, as well as just plain and simple opening packages and teaching them that, you know, we use our paper scissors for paper, we use our food scissors for anything food in case we get into the package and hit the cheese, stuff like that, right? It's a little bit of sanitation. I love having the kid kitchen scissors available in this can, just like that. My kids use them all the time. They would be able to tell you more things that they have thought of to cut than me. I can only think of a couple today. So you can see that we use this blue can for like a lot of our kid knives. So I appreciate having this can because I was running out of room in my knife drawer, right? So it was really helpful. A couple of our other favorite knives, and we'll link to, we just did a great big knife review, but just a quick shout out to Victorinox, which is #2 rated at America's Test Kitchen and by far the most affordable. Their 4-inch utility knife and their 5-inch chef's knife are quickly, like, they have become my kids' favorites. Leah likes the 4, Paul likes the 5. Paul's been saying lately, like, when I go off to college, I might buy myself this Victorinox because it has become equal to Mom's Wusthof, and he knows that the Wusthof is more like in the like upper part of the like $60s and $70, whereas this guy's only like $20. So I love that. Isn't that cool? I love that he's thinking about his adult life and cooking and being budget friendly. Like, somebody doing something right around here. I'll take that pat on the back. So this is my favorite knife. It's a 6-inch Wusthof. It is very expensive, but it will last forever. And my kids do always steal it because they really like it. Now back to our little kids. You've heard me say that I don't advocate those like kid-friendly knives that they kind of look like this. This is actually an adult lettuce knife. However, there's a place for these. And the place for these is any time where you actually would use the saw blade motion. And so I love having this around for my little kids to cut lettuce because it's a lettuce knife for lettuce. This is another one you can often find at dollar stores. And they're just, I mean, it's just plastic serrated. Like, you do not need a fancy name brand for that. Let me just tell you that. Sorry, I'm just looking at what comes up. I wanted to show you really quickly the kids using the knives. So this is our advanced level when they're using the Wusthof right there. He's using a top chop on
all right, now onions,
some peppers. And again, it's just a very, it's the right size. It's the right size for kids. Now, if you're having knives, of course, you need a cutting board. At Kids Cook Real Food, we had this nice bamboo cutting board, laser engraved, and this is beautiful. And if you don't like plastic, I think wooden is definitely the best choice. I love a wooden cutting board. I have my own big, huge block wooden cutting board, and I think, again, there's a place for wood. Don't put wood in the dishwasher. Just rinse it and wipe it without using soap if you can. So if you're feeling fancy or if you're anti-plastic, go with bamboo. Get the one from Kids Cook Real Food because it's nice. Now, if you have your own like big wooden cutting block and you want some smaller cutting boards for your kids to be able to work at the table or at another counter, because hello, elbow room moms, right? Then I highly recommend getting one with a grippy edge, a non-slip edge. So I'm going to show you a little bit from our course. This is when like all the kids are standing around. And if you look, you can see, oh great, it went right to me. I didn't want it to do that. Thought I had this set up.
Or pay out of the way.
Go figure. If you, well, we'll get back to the kids in just a second. If you look at the kids, some of them have slippery cutting boards, and we had to put damp washcloths underneath. So you know what? That's like, it's one extra step, right? Do we really want to have to put those damp washcloths underneath every time? So that's why if you're going to go with plastic cutting board, just get the grippy ones. And let's talk a little bit about best practice when you're trying to cut these. This is one at Amazon that had come up, and I took it off my list because of the words antibacterial. I'm just not a fan of extra chemicals in my plastics. So I would instead recommend something like these. This is cool because it's this whole big set. So if you have lots of kids, you could get this and like split them up for Christmas or something. Or also here's another example of a set, and we'll link to these, but I mean, they're BPA free, they're non-porous, they're dishwasher safe, they're checking all the boxes, and they have those grippy edges so they're not going to spin around and cause unsafe situations for your kids. Okay, and super affordable. Last year, our stocking stuffers were these fun whisks. And again, it's just one of those things where like kids like to have their own tools. They do cause some problems because we'll just grab one out of the drawer and someone will be like, that's my whisk. And I'm like, it's okay to share. But it's nice to have fun tools that are yours and that are colorful, right? These are both dishwasher safe. They've held up very well. There's kind of a little funky piece here, but it's not actually peeling. I think it's been that way since we got it. So they're both holding up very well. And you can see these on Amazon too. They're super affordable. When you purchase a pack, just so you know, you don't get to choose the colors, random colors. So you'll get one that's a little smaller and one that's a little bigger. But just for like a quick Christmas gift or whatever, they're just perfect for the kids. So, okay, next, this is another small item. This is the Spiralizer. Look how little it is. If you've seen most Spiralizers, they're these big contraptions that you kind of have to like suction to the counter or to a cutting, not cutting board. Well, yeah, or a cutting board or a cookie sheet. This is cool because it's like $10. It's little if you're not really super committed to spiralizing and you just want to test it out. You put, you know, your zucchini or whatever. Zucchini is what it works best on for sure. You can't really do a sweet potato, it's just too hard. But like zucchinis are easy and great. And you just twist it like a pencil sharpener. So very manageable for little kids, for small jobs, and to test out if your family will like put up with spiralizing. So again, we'll make sure that we link to that. It's the Spiral Life. And it has its own little bag, and it's fun. Like, it's nice to not have to commit to a larger appliance if you're just kind of figuring out what your family likes. Two more. Again, we just got these new muffin tins. They're silicone, so you do have to make sure you put them on a cookie sheet to use them, but they're very easy to clean, and they're very easy to pop the muffins out, even if maybe you use a recipe that doesn't have enough fat and would generally stick. And this particular set came with these little cups, which I think it's really fun to encourage kids to work on their presentation skills. Again, you can see this is really affordable. Prices are always changing on Amazon, but for right now, under $15 for the mini, the large dozen muffins, and 12 of these little muffin cups. So that's awesome, right? We like to use these for packing school lunches to separate items, as well as encouraging hospitality and aesthetics. When kids generally like to make things look pretty. That's something I notice when a lot of our members share pictures of what they've done. The children have plated things. They've set them up. They've like lined up their vegetables, and how nice and fun and artistic to have these little cups to incorporate in that. And since they're easy to wash, bonus. Last item is this is only if you use cast iron. Okay, we use a cast iron griddle and we use a cast iron pan, but you really need to have a metal spatula for those. This is actually the Paper Chef cake server, and we co-opted it to use for flipping eggs and stuff. And then this one is meant for the job. They both work just as well. And again, very affordable. on Amazon or whatever. And I'll just show you really quickly our girls using it in the pancake cooking lesson in the course. We're focusing on the skill of flipping in this lesson, not how to cook pancakes, but how to flip. So we apply it to pancakes, tortillas, hamburgers, whatever makes sense. But you'll see, you know, when you're a member, you'll get to see our kids using this tool an awful lot. And it's, I mean, it is like other than my whisk talk knife, this is the most used tool in my kitchen. So you give it to your kids under the guise of like, you need a new spatula for your kitchen. I'm Katie Kimball from Kids Cook Real Food. Our mission here is to connect families around healthy food, get kids back in the kitchen, revitalize the art of knowing how to cook, of knowing how to take whole foods ingredients and putting them together and creating something nourishing for children and adults alike. I think sometimes having the right tools can make a huge difference in both motivation and smoothing out the process of doing the techniques correctly when you've got the right tools. So I hope that our quick view of some of our favorite kitchen tools for kids was really helpful. Again, I'm Mrs. Kimball from Kids Cook Real Food. This has been an episode of the Healthy Parenting Connector, and I will be back next week connecting you parents who love to raise healthy kids with the experts who have the information you need. See you then.